This is episode 280 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel. That's not my princess's Manzano.
It's I think it says Princess SSS or something like that. Yeah, I just finished. No spoilers. Just finished House of Dragon episode 6. We spent half the episode going, huh? Are we watching the same show?
All right. I mean, never mind. Will, total Juno Eclipse of the Heart. Hagwood.
I don't watch any of those Dragons or the Rings shows, so I don't understand any of the references that Marcel's trying to say here.
Right. And Ryan, apparently the Tri-Fighter wanted to be a real boy, Staniszewski.
Yeah, I don't know if I love the Tri-Fighter. It just feels weird to potentially live in a world where the best version might just be an organic pilot.
It's Pinocchio.
It's droid erasure.
All right, as for announcements and news, this upcoming weekend is the Mustafar Galactic Qualifier. It is the final qualifier before we head into our finale event, the Battle of Exegol. If you want to get in on some dark side action and some bonus prizes that we're going to be giving away for the final qualifier, if you want to join one more tasty event, I brought some cool stuff back from Crate Cup, and it just so happens to all be Mustafar themed. So I was like, wait, let's just give this stuff away to the players playing in Mustafar, including this super dope map. All right, so I'm gonna use it as a blanket, I think, for the episode. Is that what I do? It's promotion. Join us on Mustafar. All right, so yeah, you should join. Head to goldsquadronpodcast.com, get your tickets, and join us this weekend. The time zone is Western United States, so for those of you in the U.S., might be a little bit easier than playing in a European event. And I challenge our European brethren and Australian friends and people from around the world, hey, join us. It is try to get qualified for that final. This is your last chance, to get qualified for that finale.
I think it's the UK qualifier.
It might be. I planned mine first. They stepped on my date. Just saying.
Yeah, all the good players are going to be playing the Galaxies anyway. A bunch of scrubs in the UK qualifier. I don't even think you could call it a qualifier.
They're just playing like Legacy, aren't they? Right? Is that what they're doing? Oh, Will's like, don't stoke those fires, Dion. Dion, walk away.
Wait, there's an official qualifier that's not playing 2.5?
No.
That's
he's just stirring trouble. He's just stirring trouble here now. Wow. Too soon.
Too soon. We'll talk about that later. Anyway. Today, we are talking about the exciting news of the day. Hotshots and Aces 2 spoilers have arrived. Asmodee dropped it on their store. We know the estimated or hopeful date that they have for release. And also, we got to see a bunch of cards, and including some speculation and things that we're going to be looking at. Because I know when I enhanced my scroll wheel, there's a couple of things I noticed that were interesting. I found interesting that I want to talk about. As for a release date, currently on their website, if you head over to shopasmodee.com, you will see the date of November 25th posted. November 25th. That is, if I'm not mistaken, that's Black Friday is what it's at least called in the United States. It's the day after Thanksgiving shopping. And, hey, normally on those days, I don't have anything to go get. I'll head out. I'll head out to go get me some Hotshots and Aces. My baby will have just been born. I'll be like, honey, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get some milk. and some Hotshots and Aces. You okay? I can do both. Go grocery shopping, little dabbling at the game store, and come back. Anyway, I think that people want us to jump into it, but before we do that, thank you to our patrons. You're the reason why we have this show and why we were able to travel to so many places during the 2022 season. We still got a couple more trips to go, but it's been good. Thank you to everybody who has and continues to support us. All right. Let's do it, boys. Hot shots and aces. So, Ryan, can you just kind of give me, for a player that isn't familiar with Hot Shots and Aces 1, what's the point of this box?
So the idea of this box is to provide you more pilots for the ships that have already been released for the game. More pilots as in new pilots. So we saw in the past some early spoilers for this. There's going to be a Resistance Poe Dameron scavenged YT 1300 because he flies the Falcon in episode 9. So AMG wanted to provide you with that experience in the game of X-Wing. And for this pack, it's going to be across every single faction. The first pack, it did not provide anything for the prequel factions. It comes with the cardboard. Back here is come with the necessary dials, 4 punch sheets, 1 insert.
It only comes with dials. It came with dials in the first one because they gave you new pilots for a ship in a faction that it didn't exist yet.
Yeah,
but I don't think we have any of that happening this time.
So it's just meant to add on to the experience of the ships you already have, add some spice and some pilots that may not have even existed in the game before, as we're going to see too, or at least not existed in the second edition of the game before at all, and may have been brought back from the depths of first edition.
All right, well, let's go ahead and start taking a look here. We're going to move our screen around to make sure that we get everything we need. Enhance. We're going to go one pilot at a time, and let's see. We'll go with Marcel first. We got Arihnda, the Shooting Star, in Initiative 5, Delta 7.
All right, also known as the Grand Inquisitor, is while you defend at attack range 1, you may blankety blank spend a force charge. If you do, the attacker cannot apply a range bonus. While you perform an attack against the defender at attack range 3, you may spend a force charge. We're assuming blah, blah, blah. The defender cannot apply the range bonus. Essentially, it's is it in any way different than in Grand Inquisitor?
Why are you defending range 1? Range bonus.
You deny the attacker's extra.
No,
Well, it's more like
bonus.
Click than Grand Inquisitor.
Well, how is it? Oh, because
Grand gets his range 1 bonus at range 3.
Oh,
this
okay,
is
I
like
got
Click
it.
denying
So
the
more
green defense.
Got it.
Yeah, this is
So-
Jedi Click is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, and it did show up in the back of the box twice, which means that this will be available in a Delta B and in the 7B and the Delta 7B, or whatever the differences are.
7 and 7B.
7 and
Thank
7B, yeah.
So I like it a lot with the 3 attack dice. The 3 attack dice, basically saying, 3 attack dice. My 3 dice gun now turns into a concussion missile or something like that. Just denying range bonuses. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
As for just a quick lore check, if you don't know who this character is in Star Wars, maybe that is a bit of a. There's a picture of her. If I'm not mistaken, she was a Jedi Master. For a quick note from Wikipedia, a Force-sensitive Tholothian female was a Jedi Master and member of the High Jedi Council during the last years of the Republic.
Yeah. Initiative 5, I think that's the biggest thing, right? It's you get another Initiative 5 double repositioning Jedi. My guess is probably going to be sitting at like 2 force points. So you've got quite a number of them now. You got Plo Koon, this Obi-Wan, Ayala. Ayala is also a 5, I think. So you got a couple. You've got enough to build a nice 4-ship I-5 Jedi squad now, if they fit.
That's the kicker, right? Whether it fits or not. Do you guys have what's your guess for? I mean, it'd probably end up fitting with the 7s, not the 7Bs. Maybe.
What do you mean?
You said I-5 squad, like they wouldn't necessarily as 7s. They would fit.
What are they now? I mean, how much do they?
I mean, it's got to be priced like Plo.
So all the I-5 and higher 7s for now are 5 points, because that includes Plo Koon and Obi are 5. Anakin is 6. So I would guess Adi probably
is 5 as well.
And AL is 5 also.
In the Ada, yep.
Yep. So Obi-Wan and Shakti and Ayala are 5. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like if it's costed in the same range, you can fly 4 I-5 Jedis. That's fun.
I mean, I kind of like this paired with Click. Like, you can really get like a long range alpha strike going. You can defend against 2 range 1 shots on a single ship.
Gives that Republic just a little bit more staying power, right? Because that's the big reason why people like Click in a squad, is just being able to protect.
Sure, he does like the role of like Kanan, basically.
Yep.
But in this one, since it is only on yourself, not unlike Click that you're it's a support ship. This is by yourself. Is this one of the ships that you think is worth spending the extra points to get that 3-die gun? Because 2 guys at
because
range 3 is still kind of
Yeah, because you have the better defense at range 1 still.
At range 1, you're protecting yourself.
Yeah, like you only limit them like maybe going 1 dice over your green dice.
Now, granted, at this point, all I-5 or higher 7Bs are 7 points, including Anakin, who is the bargain piece right now at I-6 that is not higher cost than the I-5s.
For some reason. Value.
Maybe we should come in. Maybe it should be the first 6. Who knows?
I think it would be interesting with Adi, if you put her in a squad with Click, is she's actually more free to flex out and be the threatening higher initiative flanker while Click protects the other ships. So there's more ships in the entire squad that your opponent just has to go, well, I need to attack that more than once to do the real damage I'm looking for. At least at the range 1 bonus.
All right, well, let's keep it rolling. For the first order, we have Agent Tierny. If you're not familiar with this character, it is from Star Wars Resistance. Here's a quick picture of her if you are watching live. As for what is she known for, quick Wikipedia reading here. Tierny was a human female who served as an agent in the First Order Security Bureau during the conflict between the First Order and the Resistance. She was sent to the Colossus to investigate Resistance activities. All right. Will, what do we got here? I know there's not much. I'll give you the next one, too.
All right. I was going to say. Anyways,
Initiative 3. That's what we know.
It is an Initiative 3 Psi Shuttle. A persuasive recruiter says, setup. After placing forces, you must assign the broken trust condition to an enemy ship. So what did you read about this character? What do you know about this character that they're breaking trust with the enemies?
So in Resistance, she got one of Kaz's friends, Tam, to defect to the First Order. Like she be like Tam ended up. She's like Kaz, you're a jerk. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'm joining the First Order. She regrets it later, but she was the driving force to get Tam to join, and also one of their other friends that is already in in the game. I don't remember his name.
I hope you can shoot the ship's guns. From with the broken trust condition, probably instead of your own, Ryan, not as an extra like bonus attack or something. But
I'm more so thinking. So it's not like a complete like you've been recruited. Like I don't. That's one thing I think X-Wing will not do is just completely flip an opponent's ship on to.
Well, I wouldn't steal the ship. Just shoot their guns or whatever.
Broken trust. I'm gonna guess stuff that would ruin like helping out friendly ships or passing tokens or things like that, where like. Oh, I don't trust you as much anymore. I'm not going to share things with you, or you're not going to share things with me. Anything friendly, no work anymore. I don't know. They'll word it much more like clearly. That's my guess.
You're no longer considered allied or friendly.
That would be a good one. Like you're no longer friendly to your own ships.
Yeah, so it can't be
coordinated. Any abilities that reference friendly ship cannot take advantage of like. In Republic, sure. You can't use fire convergence anymore.
So throw that on Cannon.
Yeah, throw it on Cannon.
Oh, dirty.
Yeah. Like,
you could just. Sorry. What if you just put it on a Hawk in the Republic?
Yeah.
No fire convergence. No 7-3. Or sorry, that's what I mean on Lat. Yeah.
You would make a Hera A-wing really sad.
Yeah, that would be.
Just shutting it down. No. That would be the first one of the, if that is how this works, all of a sudden this becomes like a real threat. Normally the Psy shuttle on the board, you're like, I'll deal with it later. That would be a problem.
I mean, it would probably have to have some other like smaller ability, like you get like a focus modifier against it or something like that, just in case like they didn't bring one of those abilities.
True. All right, the next one I think probably one of the like maybe top 3 right here. Will, who is it? Who's back?
All right. This is Corran Horn, Rogue 9
in an X-wing.
Yes, he is an I-5 X-wing. But Dion, should I be reading this ability
or the other ability? So he's okay. So this is the reason why. If you go super enhance into the picture of the back of the box, Corran Horn has a completely different ability here because he has something to do with the Force. Now, we do see a Force on his card. Now, in Legends, Corran is Force sensitive. So the question is, he could still have a Force in this version of him. He could still have a Force, just if it's one, his just ability doesn't trigger off of it. Maybe.
So I'm gonna throw a wild guess on this one.
All right.
Okay.
The one on the back is correct. The one we're seeing right now is actually for Wes Jansen.
Oh.
And they
I have
that's my guess.
I have an even wilder theory that just what's covered up. Oh, let me read this ability. Let's start there. Right. This printed ability does say, after you declare the defender of an attack, Corran Horn is attacking. If you have a lock on the defender, Corran Horn has lock. A friendly ship to Corran may transfer their lock token from you, Corran, to the defender. So Luke has Corran locked. Corran shoots somebody he has locked. Luke moves his lock over to Darth Vader, who Corran attacked. But my wild speculation is that hidden underneath of this card, it will say at some point, flip this card over.
Oh, spicy. A double-sided pilot card?
Yeah, maybe somebody dies. Like when a friendly ship at range 1 dies, flip this card over. Something like that.
That'd be...
Is that too crazy?
That's not too crazy.
Is there a Legends-like thing that triggers him using the Force at some point in the stories?
I mean, he's trained by Luke at some point whenever Luke makes the academy.
I do know, and this is not from my own knowledge. I've been seeing people talk about it, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, that's neat. This ability does mirror something that happens in the Rogue Squadron's book, where basically the rebels were unable to to target an enemy. It wasn't a capital ship, but it was a big ship. For some reason, they're being jammed or something. And essentially, he's like, "Hey guys, lock on me. I'm going in." And they fired the torpedoes at Corran. And he like got out of the way, and the torps hit home where they needed to be. So
this sounds way more thematic then. Yeah, this is
cool. It sounds pretty thematic. So, yeah, that we'll have to see. I mean, I know I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a force point in there, or at least by it being on the back of the box, he at least did at some point, right? Maybe. And now this is I want to move on to the next one because. Oh no, it wasn't here. You know what? I'm jumping ship. Where is it at? Aha, right here. Okay. Now we're jumping all the way to Volden Das. Now I'm gonna let Ryan take a look at this one because I know he loves his tri-fighters. But here's the thing. I am something about the way this card is printed seems like the text on the card was changed in post. This is not their original file. Like they're like, "Oh crap, this is wrong. We have to fix it." So it wouldn't be surprising if this back of the box is either an old file or or we're getting the newest, most updated version of Corran Horn in this spread if they went and double checked it at the end. So
yeah, that is the much more legible or readable spread to be able to infer an ability versus the back of the box tiny text with a little bit of force charge that you could see. So
that's right. So I just wanted to take a peek there at the Tri-Fighter. We'll get to it so we don't get lost here. But that's my speculation. Either way, Corran Horn looks cool. Looks cool. Passing some stuff around. Gives it's that classic Rebel synergy, right? It's just in another way, in an X-wing form.
Unless Agent Tierny's on the board.
True.
Oh yeah. I mean, imagine
like Hera, because Hera.
I'm thinking about it with Aaron Kraken.
No, I was thinking Hera with Hera at Initiative 6, target locks. When Corran take a focus, when he's gonna attack, he takes the lock. And then when somebody else is gonna attack, or when a Corran attacks, he gives the lock to everybody else. So Hera's one lock can turn into a lock for everyone else if everyone locks Corran in turn 1, and Hera locks and passes it to Corran during attack.
Well, the timing on Corran won't work with that.
Why not?
Corran says after you declare the defender of an attack.
Oh,
Hera's
yeah,
only
right.
during the modify step.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I'm thinking of Aaron Kraken shoots, gives Corran a target lock, and then Corran now has target lock focus, and then gives his lock to Luke, who now has target lock focus as well.
That is some straight up rebel just and then you got Garvin in the list too. Recite like, hey, here's some focuses while you're at it.
Sure.
Gotta love it. All right, let's keep it going here. Kit Fisto, that is your green Jedi extraordinaire. All right, I was a little upset when he didn't show up in X-Wing initially when the Republic showed up, but he appears. If you don't remember what Kit Fisto looks like, he is a green Jedi with what's the Star Wars? What's the Star Wars term for the little head tails?
I know for Twi'leks it's Lekus.
Lekus. I'm not sure if it's the same thing, but yeah. So that guy. But here, Kit Fisto.
Oh, I don't think you're sharing the correct image for the live audience. They're showing a Kit Fisto. It just kept showing the card image, not the actual image of Kit Fisto. If you're showing it.
Did I fail?
He has one of the most notorious smiles in Star Wars.
He does.
He helps out C-3PO and smiles and runs off to slice up some more droids.
Right there. Cheese.
First image smile.
Yep. All right, so Kit Fisto, he is in the Eta 2 Jedi Starfighter. He is the enthusiastic exemplar. You gotta love that. They're leaning into the smile there for sure. Initiative 4. While another friendly ship defends, if the attacker is in its, meaning the friendly ship that is defending, bullseye, you may spend 1 force to change the defender's blank results, one of the defender's blank results, to a hit result. It's kind of like it reminds me a little bit of Luminara, but a different a different way around it, because you're messing with the defense dice rather than the enemy ship's attack dice.
I mean, don't look too much farther off the same chassis. Ayla's secure ability is almost exactly the same. While an enemy ship in your front arc, so in Ayla's front arc, so if you can line up Ayla's front arc and another defender bullseye with Kit Fisto, that ship can turn 2 blanks into eyeballs.
Hey, who needs heroic when you got the Jedi just helping you out, right?
Yeah. Granted, it's been a while since we've seen Ada's feel viable, so we'll have to see how Kit Fisto rolls out. And maybe Kit's more used than Ayla, or less. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening there. Let's keep it going. Ryan, you got Sicko in the lat.
God, I'm just curious to read the flavor text. CT112754. There's slash in there. /549.
There is.
It's co-pilot maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so I2 lat. Everything looks the same besides its specific ability. After you execute a basic maneuver, you may assign the sickening, I assume, maneuver condition to yourself. So without knowing what that does, I don't know. Does it fly like an HMP? Because it is a gunship. It could start doing some side slipping, which would be cool. At I2, you're pretty, likely where you're going. Things won't be in your way.
What about something like a K-turn? Flip 180 degrees?
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, the lats are not good at turning around. Maybe Sicko's the only one that can.
So, here's a quick entry here from Wikipedia. Sicko was the only casualty sustained by the Republic during a mission when his craft was fired upon and sent spinning into interstellar void by a civilian freighter, the Nova Crystal.
So the only casualty.
Stop and rotate.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It was like rotate 90 degrees somehow.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah. That's something like that.
Stop, roll the dice, and depending on how
it has a whole
which way you're going.
I feel like it's either a condition that can be passed along to other friends, which is why it needs to be him first and then something else, or there's got to be more than just that. Otherwise, it would just say that instead of actually having a condition.
Right. Like what?
So if it's assigned to itself, then it's either a whole lot of text that they can't fit on the card.
That's my guess.
Or it's something that can be passed along to friends.
I mean, fire conversions takes up like 60% of their ability square. So, I mean, once you get to that 4th line of text, like, you're going to have to start making some sacrifices.
All right, let's keep it going. A return now, another return of a ship that we had in first edition. Different ability, though. Different ability. Take it, Marcel.
So you got Juno Eclipse, Coralag's finest. After you perform an action, you may perform a red boost action. Yeah, so it's basically just a link to a boost, and it's. I mean, I guess it's okay. I mean, it's nice. Free boosts are nice, but usually maybe target lock boost into range or something like that.
And it's an initiative 5. It's an Initiative 5 TIE Advanced X1, just for anybody who's not looking at the picture.
Yeah, sorry. TIE Advanced X1. I mean, I guess you can barrel roll
lock boost into range 1 seems pretty good.
Yeah, or barrel roll boost that I-5 out of range into range or something like that. I mean, there's things you can do with it. It's is it going to be better than Marique Steele? I mean, that's really who it would be competing with, right? I-5, X1.
Boosting's a pretty good trick, though. I mean, Will, as someone who I think in here has flown the most X1 as a chassis, and knowing that these X1s have gained the tech slot in the last revision of their loadout.
Well, just Vader, I guess.
Was
but
it just
she did.
Vader? Oh, well,
She did fly a prototype one as well, but they were all kind of prototypes, so hard to say.
No, I'm just.
I mean, if they gave her the tech slot, her value goes way up. I'll say that much.
As I say, Prime Thrusters seems like a really good spot.
And I'm not surprised to see a movement ability on her. Originally, in first edition, she had an ability that allowed you to increase or decrease her maneuver when you revealed it, one speed.
No, that was it became Ved Fossilo's ability, didn't
right.
Yep, and then Ved Fossil became banned.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So they wanted a way to add some movement there, and so they added the boost. And I mean, I feel like boost is something with X1s. One of the most common upgrades that we used to see on them was afterburners, right? Slap afterburners on there.
Yeah. It's really the only thing holding them back as a chassis is no boost. I mean, they got decent blues like 1 bank, 2 bank, 3 forward. I mean, you could Cad Bane and Grievous get by on that stuff, so I think Juno could do just the same.
All right, we'll see what comes of that TIE X1. We'll keep it going here. Will.
All right, I'm trying to Gavin Seacrest. I'm going to say, what is it? Sykes something. Sykes? All right, we'll go with that. It might. That might do it. Anyways, this is Bravo 6, an Initiative 3 Naboo starfighter. Has, of course, full throttle, but the ability reads, while you defend or perform an attack, the speed of your revealed maneuver, if the speed of your revealed maneuver is greater than the enemy ship's, you may reroll your blank results. It might say you may reroll one. No, it just says you may reroll your blank results, which is crazy. That mixed with the focus on defense could be very, very powerful. I mean, you get a free evade as well, right? So the defensiveness of the ship should be pretty good. Though I'm not really sure, man. I don't really like the Naboo's only 2 attack. It's the only thing that really makes me shy away from that ship.
But if you roll your defense dice, just take passive sensors and a torpedo, then you got a 4 dice attack.
That's true. I mean, the free you can't go wrong with free evade and defensive modifiers, right?
There he is, Gavin Sykes with his droid.
I was wondering, Dylan, does it say that Gavin was like a diehard wingmate of Rick Ollie? Because this just screams this is Rick Ollie's like wingmate, just for like I want to go fast too.
It doesn't. We have very little information about him overall. I have one other thing I wanted to click here just to see if there's any information here. He was a lieutenant. And he was Bravo 6. That's really all that we have. We know the name of his droid. R2C4 was his droid.
I like how his droid came out before he ever did. R2C4 was beginning.
Is that the evade? Is that the evade one?
Spend evade to turn an eyeball into a hit.
Ooh, and
I mean, that seems pretty good. Like with full throttle, can give you double mods then. So if you take his little droid.
this is from StarWars.com. Look at this last entry here, the last paragraph. It says, right here, there are rumors that Sykes may have later perished inside the second Death Star under the call sign Gold Wing, protecting Lando Calrissian's Millennium Falcon shortly before it blasted out of the Death Star's fiery innards.
Really?
It must be really old then. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, he lived a good life. Alrighty, let's keep it going. Next, we have the dirty scoundrel himself, Hondo Ohnaka. I smell profits. All right, his ability is Initiative 1 Fire Spray. By the way, Initiative 1 Fire Spray. More Fire Spray pilots, because we definitely need more of those. I'm not venting. His ability is Action. Choose 2 non-huge ships at range 0 to 3 of you that are not friendly to each other. Each chosen ship may perform an action that is on your action bar, even while stressed, in the order of your choice, and then gain 1 calculate token. So, a couple of things that I saw people talking about with this one. People say, wait a second. Why does his ability point out non-huge ships? Let's speculation time. Put on your speculation hats. Okay.
They have a boost, so you probably shouldn't be able to boost your.
That's available.
Yeah, I don't know about
They
that.
completely took away my fun. Yeah, that's the reason why, of course. Yeah,
Wait, I mean, Marcel, you got another thought?
No, I mean that's basically it because it's a huge
It's gotta
ship.
be
But
it,
actually,
right?
like, yeah, you give. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a little weird, but I mean, you can boost. I mean, you got your YV.
Yep.
Like,
I mean,
I'd say
the
he boosts YV.
Yeah, I mean, the reinforce on a couple ships could be pretty clutch.
I don't
We've
normally
seen
get it, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen the success of the Mandalorian crew on Q9, so maybe apply that to ships like Dengar, or even say Boba Fett, another ship who had, or Bosk. Bosk could get triple reinforced then.
well, no, because
Good luck.
you can't take an action that you already took.
Oh, that's true, because yeah, it is an action.
That's
Boo
where Gavin
that.
Key would
But
come in to save.
Yep.
yeah, they only give you 2 though. Wait, no,
Yeah,
you can
but I mean-
hold
I
2
mean,
then, and then
mean,
Gavin
it-
Key.
Go
No,
ahead.
that doesn't work. No.
I was just gonna say
Never
it
mind.
gives target lock to all the ships that don't have it.
True.
It gives boost to all the ships that don't have it, and it gives reinforce to any ship. So
Yeah. Oh
I
man,
mean,
like
it's just-
Dengar, Bosk boosting out there.
But then the question is, are you willing to purchase an entire fire spray just for that?
well, it's still a fire spray.
Oh,
I mean,
know.
you got slap a
But, you're all,
force
but
crew
you
on
are
there.
using your action for other ships. So the power of the fire spray itself, like, I mean, you get to kind of coordinate from the fire spray at I1.
I mean, wait, can't
And then
you?
you have a
whole-
calculator.
No. I was gonna say, I guess you could choose yourself.
You
That
could.
wouldn't
You could
You could
choose
boost,
yourself.
calculate
yeah.
yourself.
Yes, you can. But
And
here's
you
the
get a
kicker.
calculate, so you can target lock calculate. Or-
You could target lock calculate, but you'd have to give lock calculate to another ship. But they have to take the stress though. That's what's interesting is that you could stress someone before their dial at I1.
Well, not
Well,
quite.
no,
not
you-
not
no,
quite.
You don't get to choose their actions.
They
And-
get
and you-
that ship gets to choose which of the fire spray's actions it wants.
May perform an action that is on your action bar even while stressed.
Right. They
Oh,
may.
even while
They
stressed.
may.
and they don't
Wow,
take a stress. It means basically they're
Oh.
getting rid of the old Hondo. Like, okay, I'll jam this and I'll give an
I was
action
gonna say,
to
yeah.
a stress ship.
Really?
But it's,
Okay.
again, it's a really good way if you have a ship that's stressed and you really need it to take an action. Just throw it in action, and you know, if you're gonna action, let's say, you know, a 7 or 8 point ship on your end, and you're gonna toss an action to maybe a TIE fighter or something less meaningful on their end, it's worth it. I mean,
Right, because you still get to choose the ship, right? You still get to choose the ship within that range 0 to 3 bubble. But one thing people are like, oh, but if they're stressed, just pick the stressed one. Don't miss that part where it says even while stressed. So that can give a stressed ship a focus, a boost, a lock, or even a reinforce if they want it.
boosting at initiative 1, nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine Dengar boosting before that 4K.
So I'm curious to see how. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna put it on the table because this seems hilarious, right? It is right up, right like Hondo. Like, I'm not surprised to see some type of ability like this from him.
It's very interesting. It's noteworthy that they specifically do not use the word coordinate in any of this text. So any ability that would work off of coordinating does not work together.
But they could link the action, though, right? If you chose, like, a Fang and they boosted, they could then focus.
Yeah.
And then clear their stress.
Move at their initiative, yeah.
So, like, you can't put Protectorate Gleb on Hondo and use Protectorate Gleb to pass a red token you may have, because you're not coordinating.
Yeah.
There's some cool.
But I mean, there's a little bit of also you can play along with Hondo, give an action to someone and then take it away with Hondo. Because Hondo you can jam.
You can't have two Hondos in your
You
list.
can't have two Hondos.
Yeah, how many Hondos you can have?
That is his name is Hondo.
His name is Hondo. You can't have two Hondos.
Why not clone him?
That's why there's a dot. There's a big fat dot next to his name.
This is peak Marcel at, like, late at night asking us a question about something.
Yeah. How many Hondos can I bring? He's not restricted by a faction.
Oh, love it. Now, Chilling Guy's saying there's no link action on the fire spray, and they have to do actions on the fire spray. True, but it's so the way this is read is each ship may perform an action that is on your action bar, but that ship is still performing the action, and the way linked actions are stated is after you perform an action.
So
I'm pretty sure how
I can
that's
see both sides of
worded.
that argument. If that's yay or nay. If there was a ship in Scum that had an auto thrusters or vector thrusters like ability, that, as we call them linked actions, would work. But nested linked actions that are specific to action bars, like a Fang that could boost link focus, there's a real rules question there of whether or not
Right.
I see what you're referencing, because Auto Toucher says after you perform an action on your action bar and you didn't perform an action on your action bar, you performed an action on Hondo's action bar.
Depends, because if the boost is also on your action bar, you're performing that one. We had this discussion like 2 weeks ago on another rules
what
thing.
were we talking about? That same thing.
Yeah, it was something similar about, are you performing it on their?
Oh, it's the BB-8 intuitive controls. Thing all over again. Where
This will come down
BB-8.
to this will all come down to intent. If the developers literally meant, like, no, you're just doing one on this card, we'll get some type of post that says no, it's just the one.
I still think you'll be able to link, just like any other coordinate.
All right,
We'll have to see.
Let's keep it going here. I'm gonna audible here and scroll down to Valen Das. Take it, Ryan.
Valen Das, a single pip I-5 tri-fighter. Doesn't sound very droid-like, but it is apparently an impatient invader. So I want to go over the bottom text first, because this is more the chassis ability, kind of. In the fact that it's called Modified for Organics. This ship is not affected by the standardized restriction. Period. So next sentence, reduce the difficulty of your speed 2 and 3 bank maneuvers and increase the difficulty of the 3 turn maneuvers. So it's changing the dial to attribute it to an organic pilot that isn't so rigid with the turns and the straights that are more blue and has the banks that are blue. So the original dial had 2 and 3 banks as white and the 3 turn is blue. Well, now the 3 turn is white and the 2 and 3 banks are blue. I mean, we know
3 bank
how
blue is great.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3 bank blue is really good, but 3 turn blue is also really good. But you still keep the 2 turn blue, so it's more of a traditional interceptor style ship that has those banks available to it.
As a note, it still keeps its hard 2 blue as well.
Yeah, it still keeps the hard 2 blue. But the actual pilot ability, after you fully execute a red maneuver, you may choose an enemy ship at range 1, not 0 to 1, 1. The chosen ship gains a strain token, and you may remove a stress token. So if you just happen to do a red maneuver around an enemy at range 1, you just get to dump your stress and give them a strain, and still get your actions. That's a pretty cool trick. My guess is because this is an organic pilot, this is going to be a focus instead of your calculates.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of a tri-fighter being able to be organic, but I guess you can hollow with that ball and turn into a seat, I guess.
Yeah.
Whether we'll get more of those, I don't know. We'll find out a little bit, but farther into the future, whether or not we'll get more tri-fighters that are organic, or if this is like the only one. I5 is good. That ability is pretty real, and your dial adjusted a bit, more like an A-wing, or it's a silencer.
Ryan, what do you think about a 5 forward, then a 5K with the boosters
the
still
slam?
attached? Get behind somebody and strain them like round
it sounds
2.
awesome.
Zoom and
But
boom.
also, your opponent should see that coming like a mile away, because it is a mile away.
They-
There's only
It is, I
one
mean-
way they can do it.
Do you know how many people play this game and don't read cards? A lot.
And as a Ryan who reads, so many people have to read to them every day. It's a gift and a curse. So I like more tries. I just my thing is, I hope this doesn't become like the only good try, because it's like it's not even a droid.
My theme. All right, Marcel, I'll give you the next throwback in the pack. Who is it, and what's a chassis?
It's my boy, Tycho Celchu. Initiative 5 A-Wing. It's son of Abercrombie and Finch. Nope,
Of
it's son of
Alderaan.
Alderaan. While you have 2 or fewer stress tokens, you may perform actions, even while stressed. Still has a vector thrusters, so basically it's almost the Tycho of old, the Tycho of 1.0. Tycho 1.0 Tycho had actions while stressed to infinity, but it's 2 or fewer stress tokens, so that's pretty good. I mean, K-turn focus.
You can go up to
just a
3,
focus link.
and after having used the ability.
Yeah, and then after that, you got to start clearing stress. But I mean, if you're not clearing stress by getting up to 3, I mean, you're pretending to be a defender at that point. I don't know.
I'm the defender now.
Yeah. No, I mean this is really good. Now it could either be really good or really mediocre. It really depends on with the A-wings, their loadout, and not just their loadout points, but the slots that they have available, because they need something to improve that 2-die pellet gun that they have.
Well, here's a question for you, Marcel. Are you going to rock the turret with this guy? Or are you going to try to take advantage of that I5 boost?
Definitely the I5 boost, but even with the turret,
Because you can rotate and boost in the system phase even while stressed then.
vector thrust after you perform an action, you may perform a boost action. Yeah, you can rotate, boost, and then move action. No, I still like it. I mean, at I5, you want to keep your options open. And then as well, you want to... again, it depends. Like you need a cannon. I mean, hopefully it has a cannon, right? I mean, even a missile is kind of okay, but then you're target locking, and an A-wing that's target locking is an A-wing that's probably gonna die if it's getting shot. So again, it's fun, could be good, but I think it needs a cannon or some focus-based way to get an extra attack die.
Barrage rockets. Give it double missile. Do it.
Hey, why not? Well,
I think in a
I mean, I guess a procket could work a little
Yeah, I mean,
bit.
sloop focus boost seems pretty awesome with this guy.
Yep.
I5 Procket. Good trick.
Yep. Pew pew, you're dead. Also, just in objectives, like any action-based objective, you have so much flexibility with Tycho. Specifically thinking about scramble. It's a great scramble. Now you'd be sad in salvage a little bit, but most things are sad in salvage, so you're all together. It's fine. All right. So,
One note on that, since we're on the topic of scenario actions, in the scenario action rules, do they say they're an action that's added to your action bar?
No, they're not on your action bar.
Okay, just
So
making
for Hondo?
sure for Hondo. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Hondo you cannot be handing out
I
scenario
just
actions
think back
to
at some of the
people.
cards we already went through, like, wait a minute, scenarios. Wait a minute, Hondo. All right, cool.
I was actually trying to think of if Hondo has a crew, you could hand out coordinates, couldn't you? Like if Hondo had Gleb on him, that coordinates
when
added
other
to your
stuff's
action
added
bar.
to his action bar, yeah.
yeah, any card that
weird.
gives you actions goes on the action bar.
So you just, man, that is weird. That anyone coordinates the point. But it's all happening at I1.
Yeah, because they coordinate, but guess who they're coordinating? Hondo.
It's just back to Hondo. more profit for Hondo.
Profits.
Just remember that everything you're giving yourself, you're giving your opponent.
True that.
I mean, they can red
opponent can
coordinate
then
if they
also
want.
Not
You
if
want
you
to red
coordinate
coordinate?
yeah, if you give them the ability to coordinate too, sure.
Maybe read. Okay, cool. Never mind. Let's keep it going. We're going down a rabbit hole.
Don't you
All right.
dare bring up the Andrasta title on a non-Iman Asmin fire spray.
Andrasta title.
Don't you
Reload.
dare.
Here we go. All right, Will. You can take the last new one here. Zay Versio.
Zay Versio, her father's daughter. It's an I3 T70. Of course, has the weapon's hardpoint and says, while you defend, if the attacker is damaged, meaning they have a damage card on them, you may reroll one defense dice. So very similar to, it's Del Miko in the TIE Fighter, if I'm not mistaken, but it only works on Zay. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I bring T-70s for their offensive capabilities, not really to be defending. I don't expect much from their 2 agility. But this kind of reminds me then of maybe a soulless one reroll, right? That helps out Grievous sometimes when he's flying away from the battle.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how much elusive's being taken right now. If it's not, I mean, what if Zay could take elusive, has it on the initial engage even when stuff isn't damaged, and then has it for after? It's probably overkill, but as Deslin mentioned in the chat, and I remembered playing the Battlefront 2 video game campaign, Zay Versio being the daughter of Iden Versio and Del Miko anyway. So you're right, that's why it's very akin to Del Miko.
It all makes sense now. As I said, would have been pretty silly if they gave her the mother's ability too.
Oh yeah, cancel
Resistance.
attack on your T-70?
Yeah,
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Stonks up on multi T70 squads.
Yep. What if they had done it just for Zay though? It's like one attack, she just goes, "Nah, you don't get to do that." I mean, still great, right?
A really good trick.
The other pilot that we have here, I believe they showed this one already with the ability, Tor Fun. direct pressure. So we're not going to get into that one because that one's not new. But well, you know what? I'll read the ability. I'm sure somebody's like, I didn't get to hear it yet. After you perform an attack, if the defender was destroyed, you may perform an action even while stressed. Then you may gain 2 strain tokens to perform a bonus attack. It is in a Fang Fighter. Don't play it. Let's move on. Honestly,
Wow.
bonus attacks. I'm down on most Fang Fighters. The fact that you get a bonus attack is great. The question is, can you get the points that you pay for this Fang Fighter? Can you get it out of it?
The Beskar, or whatever they call it, that makes them a lot more survivable than.
We don't know
not
if
a
this is
lot
a
of people use it.
Mandalorian though. We don't know if we'll be able to take Beskar.
I mean, flying a Fang.
It's
but
Mando only.
It's a pretty good guess.
Probably.
It's a Mandalorian, but
Maybe.
yeah. I mean, I feel like this would have to be paired up with other I3s, or else you're never going to figure out how to destroy a ship. Like in which order you had to fire.
Look, if you just bring a bunch of bombs and splash damage, you'll just slightly hurt everything else, and Tor Fun will just go right through everyone.
True. Here's a problem though. What if your friendly ships accidentally kill a ship? Like, oh, I mean, I guess you killed the ship. It worked out.
Oh no, I killed a ship.
But I didn't get to do my cool trick, man.
Oh,
I paid for
no.
this ability.
At least Sloane's not around to make you sad about killing a ship, so there's like very little reason to be sad about killing a ship other than like Dead Man Switch right now. And Chewie Falcon.
Is there any benefits in Scum for having strain tokens? Like Cutthroat could get rid of them, I guess. I don't think there's any other way to get benefits out
so.
of them.
I know Maul Gauntlet could double coordinate by giving his lower initiative friends strain.
Right.
That's not helping get rid of it.
Okay.
People says the wiki say he's a Mando. All right. Then it's a Mando. So on the back of the box, back up here a little bit, we do get to see all the pilots that will be, oh my goodness, come on. All the pilots that will be in the box. So we'll just do a quick read down of what we haven't seen yet. In Rebels, there is reportedly a Wes Jansen, Ko Venzi, and Pops Crail. Wes Jansen's in that T-65 X-Wing. In first edition, he had a debuffing. He like took a token.
He would jam you. He
Basically jammed you.
Yeah.
He shot you.
Yeah, he was C4. If he shot at you, you're jammed.
Then Ko Venzi in the R1, RZ1 A-Wing. I'm not sure who's that.
Oh wait,
that
Kyo.
pilot.
She's from the Squadrons game.
Oh, you're right.
She's the A-Wing pilot in Squadrons. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Kyo. She's probably gonna do some. She might probably get some maneuvering ability. She did some crazy stuff in that game.
Then Pops Crail in the BTL A4 Y-Wing. Is that another?
I thought we had Pops as a quick build,
I thought Pops might have been a quick build. Yeah, in this hold on.
if I'm not mistaken,
Arenas.
which would have made him, obviously, a trench run. Gold Squadron
run
Y-Wing.
That sounds right.
Quickly going through the Rebel. Luke, Wedge, Biggs, Garvin, Jack. Pops, yeah. Pops is going to come out first as a standardized loadout Y-Wing, and eventually in this pack is going to be a regular. So we do have confirmed first case already of a pilot that's being released as standardized first, and then eventually being released again as the customized.
So that could be for all those.
A lot of people who were very concerned about having certain pilots only being available as standardized loadout. That could still be the case, but there's proven now that it might not all the time.
They're at least willing. They're at least willing to
Yes.
it. So those Sigma interceptors and stuff like that, we might have a chance to get them in another way. All right. In the Empire, we got a new TIE Heavy flight leader, Ubel. They're still not brave enough to give me a Han Solo. Give me a Han Solo and a TIE Heavy. Just do it. Make him Imperial. It's all right. The Rebel
I6
players
TIE
will cry.
Brute, let's go.
We're also going to get the second sister in a TIE Interceptor. Okay. All right.
Interceptor with Force, let's go. She's from Fallen Order. For anyone who hasn't played the game, you should play the game.
Yeah, there you go. The Interceptor goes zoom, and also I have the Force. Magna Tolvin in the TIE LN fighter. I'm not sure Magna. Where's that from, boys? I know where the next one from. Erica Quell is from Alphabet Squadron. Before, like the Alphabet Squadron books, spoiler, she was in the Empire first, and somehow ends up fighting with the rebels. I won't tell you. It's a great book series. You should definitely read it. But yeah, Magna Tolvin. I'm not sure. Audience.
She comes from.
Magna seems to be a comic character.
Yeah, she comes from the Dr. Aphra comics. Both the 2016 and the 2020 runs. Ooh, as a flashback. Okay. Ooh. Maybe referencing the early ones. So yeah, must be a rival, ally of, it says, Tolvin tells Aphra she loves and hates her. Ooh, okay. So yeah, maybe like a rival to Aphra then in the Empire.
All right, Will. What haven't we seen yet from the Resistance?
What haven't we seen?
Yeah, so from the list there.
Spoiled stuff.
Oh, well, we saw the Poe. We did not see Lando. We saw Zay. That's Lando and the Falcon, obviously. I believe that's from the last movie, right? He comes in on the Falcon.
Yep, in the final big battle.
That's right. Him and spoiler for that movie that I'm sure you care about. But yeah, him and Chewie go out and find help for the final battle. Then Vincent Doza. I don't think we've.
I think it's Vanessa. Vanessa Doza.
Oh, I haven't zoomed in far enough apparently.
That is from the Resistance TV show.
Yep.
And then Taka Jamborisa. Jamorisa.
No, Taka Jamboree. Let's go, having a party.
Yeah,
that's in the Resistance transport.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That ship does need new pilots. 16 just Covenel out there. So that will be weird. Won't show out like a coordinate ability. What do we know about Taka?
While we're looking up Taka, Vanessa Doza was the mother. Or is the mother of one of the racers, the racer
Tora.
who, yes, Tora, the one who drove the blue car spaceship.
It does look like a car, yes.
I need it. I still wanted an X-Wing.
I want that blue car as well.
She was apparently supposed to be. Vanessa was a very experienced pilot. Like, she could be. I'm gonna say at least I5. She might be another I6.
Ooh, I6. People would drool over another I6.
But I'm gonna say they're gonna reserve it. They're gonna reserve the I6 level for Poe only, and probably stick her at I5. Or she'll have a really, really good ability to be I4. Who knows?
Alrighty, Marcel. What do we have? Sorry,
I found
Taka.
Taka is a non-binary character. This would be an appearance from Last Shot, which is an audio book. Have you heard that one?
Last Shot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have. I can't tell you about them.
She was an aspiring, or they were an aspiring scoundrel. About 2 years after the Battle of Jakku, they were in a crew with Han Solo and Lando Calrissian trying to thwart Friesen Gore's plot to take over the galaxy using the Phalanx Redux transmitter. What is this audiobook about?
Oh yeah, last shot. That's this one right here. I did read it. It's on my list.
Oh, so
Read.
this is actually a canon because like what you
It
just
is.
said, Will, sounds very Legends.
Oh no, this was a good one.
Sentence and I did not know where it was going to end up.
This was a good one. It is definitely a like adventure of the week type of book. Like it ends up with 0 consequences in the end, but it's a good time.
Yeah, apparently they were a fan of the musical group Snodgrass and the Mogwars.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, that's your next GSP shirt. I'm sure it's going to be Snodgrass and the Mogwars.
I think it has to be now.
We're going to find out more about them for sure.
All right. What about in Scum? What are some pilots that are coming up that haven't been that we haven't seen their cards yet, Marcel?
Well, I don't know which ones we've seen other than Hondo and
The bottom 3.
Or because we just talked about them today.
Yeah.
So we got Dirge. Actually, let me look at the other one because it comes out really. Yeah, it says Dirge in the Rogue class. I have no idea who that is. Dr. Afra in the YV666. That one I'm super excited about because it's a YV and it's just you guys just said that Dr. Afra is a comic book, I guess, from 2016 and 2020.
Yeah, but she's got her own ship. I'm glad that she's showing up in the YV666.
Oh, Dr. Afra?
But I will not be satisfied without the Archangel. I have not been satisfied, AMG. Just letting you know.
Who's Dr. Afra? I mean, I was thinking it was a dude.
No,
she is an Imperial spy. She works for Darth Vader with BT-1 and 000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, BT-1 and 000, those are her droids.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nice. So, ability
He's
something to do with stress then?
Actually, if any, so she's a, correct me if I'm wrong, Dion, she's a very, I don't know if she's renowned, but she's very smart. She's a scientist.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if her ability actually synergizes with crew she takes that are droid based or whatever, or that any crew that gives her calculate, she has additional bonuses because of that. She's not going to be a high initiative, I think, but she could have some wacky abilities. She's probably become the most popular original comic book character in Star Wars. Would you say that, Dion?
Yeah, because she became popular after she showed up in the Darth Vader series. Let's see, do I have that one here? No, that's on my other shelf. So she's known for releasing 000 and BT-1. Without her, they don't exist in the Star Wars world. Like, basically, spoilers, their consciousness were basically just computer modules that were locked away because scientists were like, yeah, this was a bad idea. We shouldn't have done this. We created murder droids, and then she liberated them with restrictions because 000 is constantly like, I wish I could murder you, but you disabled my murdering you circuits, essentially is where he's at. But yeah, Afra's become really popular because of she's going on adventures in different parts of the Star Wars universe that we're all familiar with, as well as being a very diverse character. She's Asian, she's gay, and she is just all around just being just a really cool person overall.
So when you showed the picture, I'd seen that before. I saw it in the YouTube video. I think there's those YouTube creators that make like did you know type content.
Yeah.
And it was something like, who are the humans or the non-Force users that Darth Vader respected? And I think it was one of that one. And they said like she's one of the non-Force users that Darth Vader genuinely respected.
Yep.
Is what I remember the episode that I saw her in. But again, I think it's going to be something stress related if you're talking 000 and BT-1, and that's what you're saying, some stress ability. Maybe, what is it called? The one that hands out stress. I forgot. Jesus. Asajj, something that's Asajj-like. And then you have Lupin Chewie in the TIE Fighter, modified TIE Fighter.
Lappin. Lappin is the name that's listed there. Yeah, we have
I've
no
never heard
idea.
of
It's
that
probably
one.
just another mining guild lackey, maybe.
So, Dion, did you get an image for Dirge up?
Dirge, no, had not. That was my
So
next one.
Dirge, for anyone leading up to the release of Episode 3, before they ever had the 3D Clone Wars series, they had the 2D Clone Wars series. And Dirge was first introduced in that he fought Obi-Wan, and he's like this... He's basically just a mass of like worm-like creatures that just formed into this body, or he's just a bunch of massive muscle that he can control and regenerate. If it wasn't for how cool Grievous ended up in that TV show, this guy probably would have been like the star villain. He's like bounty
There we go.
hunter-esque.
There's the worms.
Yeah, like he's very difficult to kill. I think they even hint the fact that even when they defeated him, he didn't die.
All
I
right.
looked up Lappin. Lappin's from Dr. Aphra Comics as well. This was looks like they worked with her on the Acquisitioner. Is that the name of the? Must be some Star Destroyer. That's what that sounds like.
I don't remember.
They had worked with Dominia. Does that ring any bells? No?
Yep, I don't know, but there's a picture. We got a picture of them. There it is. Lappin. All right, let's keep it going here. We're looking at the Separatists now. Taking a quick peek. What else? What in Separatists haven't we seen yet, Ryan?
So Dirge is going to be dual faction. There's a Dirge Separatist and there's a Dirge Scum for the Rogue class starfighter. And then there's two new types of Vulture droids. There's a single pip Vulture droid called the Iron Assembler. Apparently it comes from a Star Wars video game. I don't know. I don't recall which one, but someone mentioned it earlier today in the chat. And then there's the Kelrado AI Holdout, and there's 3 copies of them. So I'm assuming that is a 3-pip Vulture. So that's why if people started counting, there are 35 new pilots, but it says there's 38 ship cards because there's multiples of the droid here. So 2 new types of Vulture droids, 1 single pip, 1 3-pip, and then Dirge. Besides, oh yeah, I skipped over another fire spray. We have the first emergence of Aura Singh in X-Wing. A bounty hunter, very much specializes or really enjoys hunting Jedi or Force sensitives. Mm-hmm. Someone mentioned her backstory is she actually used to be...
She did leave the Jedi Order to take up bounty hunting, so she is Force sensitive.
So, may have a Tapusk-like effect, or just very anti-Force charge in some capacity, or might have a single Force charge herself, who knows. She's a hunter, and she hunts Force sensitives, I think, the most, or that's what she's known for. She hates them.
Yeah, she helped Boba Fett hunt down Mace Windu, or tried to help Boba Fett. But yeah, seemed to have been in that whole Clone Wars bounty hunter gang with Django. What was the other one? Cad Bane, that was the other one. And of course, Hondo Ohnaka, but who didn't work with Hondo in the Clone Wars?
True. In the First Order, let's see, Lieutenant Gallic is a TIE FO that we haven't seen yet. I believe we saw Joel Jerjerrod early but it had a lackluster ability, so I've forgotten it. You guys
It
remember?
was boosty something? Let me take a look.
Yeah, it's something that people like pure prime thrusters for.
Yeah, it was after you perform a boost action, you may spend one of your 3 non-recurring charges to remove 1 non-lock red or orange token. So it can actually use boost as their action, I guess. But I'm not really sure because it's not lock. I don't know. I guess you could remove a jam off yourself or something.
Remove a reload. Or the disarm, right?
Yeah, but you have to do a boost action. So I don't know what. This is what has everybody's head scratching. Is like, what non-lock red token would you have?
I mean, you
or
could end
orange
up
token?
with a strain or a deplete from something else.
Sure.
Game
Okay.
effects.
Yeah. Yeah. So you shoot at a notorious person, then in the system phase you boost and remove your string.
Yeah.
Hondo out there trying to jam you. You know.
Jam. Maybe. We have DT798 in the TIFO. We have him as a upgrade card already. It's also from Star Wars Resistance. Is one of the other Colossus defectors. Though he was always kind of like the mean boy on the station. So he's extra grumpy in the TIFO. We'll see if he ends up doing anything. And the other one is Lynn Gava. G-A-A-V-A. I don't know that pilot off of the top of my head. Let's just do some quick Googling and see if
While you're Googling that, Lieutenant Gaelic is also from Resistance TV show. She was the instructor to the flight group that Tam and Rucklin were a part of. So she may have a instructor-like ability.
Mm-hmm.
But she was also very aggressive, so it might be another like Malrus effect where it's like you do your job better, do better, recruits, and then
I think this is her, right here.
Yeah, that's her.
Gaelic. And then this is right here. This is Lynn Gava. She ends up defecting.
Oh, one of Rucklin's friends. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
ends up
I didn't know she
defecting as
also
well.
defected. They never. I don't think they ever actually showed that in the TV show.
Like, you're my friend. We're going to go be bad together. From a certain point of view. All right. And then last but not least, Will, what are our final Republic standouts that we haven't got to learn about yet?
Okay, so we talked about Adi in both the 7 and 7B. Talked about Sicko and Kit Fisto. So what remains is a clone named Slammer in the V19 Torrent. Let's take a look at the old Slammer.
I mean, do you think his ability allows him to slam?
I mean, boost and what, slip? No, it's drift, isn't it?
Slider.
Oh, slider. Yeah, slider. I mean, they don't seem to be the most creative clones, you know, as far as nicknames goes. Let's see here. His call sign was Blue 3. He served on Ryloth under the command of Ahsoka Tano. And they went through a blockade together. Slammer and several, they killed a vulture droid. No, not getting a lot from there. But he is in the Torrent, which are, I think, underrated right now, especially with, or not underrated, but underutilized.
Yeah,
with V-Wings
sure.
And Z95s just coming out as well. The space that they had is crowded with Y-Wings as well, kind of filling that munitions tanky line troop, right? Mm-hmm. So could be something that helps their offense, like he's slamming into people with his guns.
Go fast. See what happens. All right, well, that has been the spoilers that we have so far for the Hotshots and Aces 2 Hotshots and Aces 2. They like the name so much. They're like, let's just go number 2. That means that they're just going to keep it going. 3, 4, 5. Do they eventually... Is it Roman numerals? That's the question. Right? I mean, they didn't put a number 2, right? They put 2 lines. Right? Is it just 2 lines? How they do it? I got to go look now. That's Modi.
Yeah, 2 lines.
All right, cool.
Doing the
Roman
Roman
numerals.
numerals.
They got plenty of space then. You just keep it going. Keep it going. Make it Super Bowl it. It's up, 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 up. Gotta love it. All right, so the last thing I want to hit real quick, this last weekend, I was at Crate Cup and want to say thank you to everybody who was there, who hung out, said hello. And say congratulations to the White Walkers team. They were the ones that won. They are the reigning champions. I think this is their 3rd win in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Mind you, there was a few years between the last one and this one. For no reason, I promise. But what I wanted to take a second and do is talk about how... So we know by now we've talked about XCC and list pairing process. It was very similar. It's like, one team puts 2 down, you pair against it, you have 2 left, you pair against it, and whatever's left over happens. But I wanted to talk about what they did for scenarios, because what happened in this team event was that the scenarios were not the same for every single person who was playing out there. So what they did, they had a deck of the 4 scenarios. And whoever was team B, so the team that didn't set out their first list, basically got to they randomized, selected or looked at the scenario that randomly got selected from the deck, look at the 3 matchups they had, and then set that matchup down on the pairing that they want. The other side did the same thing with a randomized card. It goes back to the first team. They look at the 2 that were left and then select the last one. It was really interesting, and it got me thinking a little bit about final tables. Thinking a little bit about final tables. What would you guys think about some, not necessarily that system, because it's one game, so it has to be a little bit different, but about some type of decision making around the scenario, at least when it came to a final. I'd like to know your guys' thoughts.
I think it's always been a good idea to do that, especially in the final, because you have each list definitely has, like, this is my worst. Most of them probably be salvage, but some of them might be something different. Mm-hmm. For example, if you're playing 3 ship on 3 ship lists, that's your final. But one of those 3 ships, catch fine. One of those 3 ship lists is 3 fatties, and then the other one is 3 small base ships, or 2 small base and a large ones. The area control is a definite disadvantage. So I think it would make sense for each player to ban or to remove an option, and then you end up with 2, and then you randomize one of those 2. But so it's like a veto. Like I don't want to play salvage, and the other one, I don't want to play chance engagement, and then you end up with something randomized in the middle.
Will, thoughts?
No, that's the exact system. Is essentially what you call it, ban veto. Mm-hmm. The veto system would make the most sense unless we get 5 scenarios at some point, so they could take 2 turns each to get down to a single scenario. Mm-hmm. Still, though, I think that would be the way to go, because like you said, like, I'm 3 small bases for some reason. I'm 3 small bases, and I'm facing 7 TIE fighters and a Reaper. I'm like, well, let's not do assault. Anything but assault, please. Right? Like, so that does make sense. I mean, is there any other way, Ryan, you think that you could divide that up, give the players a little bit of choice?
No, honestly, that's the first one that came to mind, was each player gets the chance to veto and then you flip a coin on the 50-50 left over.
So
My one devil's advocate concern with anything related to having players have control over what the scenario is you'll start to potentially see, depending on the meta, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it could, is you could see finals only having, or at least have a much higher percentage of certain scenarios occurring in the final, because so many people will veto a certain type or a couple types of scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Because of depending on the prevalency of what's played will then overshadow or overtake what they obviously don't want to have. So they'll veto those out or consistently. So where a lot of people don't want to see salvage for whatever reason that they may have, whether it is less ships, whether it is because most of their ships are maneuverable, whether it's just they just don't like salvage. That just seems to be the trend right now.
We played a lot of salvage this weekend. Oh,
sure.
Half of our games on stream were salvage. We had a great time.
Yeah, it's fun times. But if you start allowing vetoing to occur, it's always a slippery slope once you put any power into the player's hands to affect the game structure.
Mm-hmm. In the final, I think it's different in the final because you still have no choice in.
No, you definitely have a choice if you have a say in what's not allowed to be used.
No, what I'm saying is you still have no choice as you get to the final, like to go through Swiss.
You have to have gotten to the final to even have a chance to consider it. So is it smart to build for the final?
Dion, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Remember when we went down to 2 hours to 75 minutes to make it just like everything else?
Yeah.
What makes this final so different then? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just.
If you want that consistency, right? There's that side of the coin too.
Yeah.
Is we just went through making a change. You did specifically. You're like, I'm tired of these 2 hour finals. These are stupid. Like a lot of people didn't even think they should have existed in the first place because like now it changes the game and how people could play it, and they adjusted and played their matches differently because they had that extra time. Mm-hmm. So now let's just make it just like everything else. You earned your way up here this way. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, I think the difference is that there are, and it happened before with the 2 hour finals and the 75-minute finals, but there, especially with 4 scenarios and then being like a 25% chance of which one you get, there are very clear and distinct advantages and disadvantages. And then, it's similar to something that the game purposely tried to get away from, which is rolling for initiative. So you're rolling for initiative at, you have 2 initiative 6 lists, and you're rolling for initiative. And at the beginning of the dice roll, at the beginning of the game, you say, okay, I'm moving second the entire game. I am at a clear advantage, and you're making that final, you're making the weight of that final, you're putting a lot of weight of that final on that initial dice roll. So basically it's, randomizing the deck of the 4 possible scenarios. If you have a scenario that is highly advantageous to one and highly disadvantageous to the other, you're essentially putting a lot of weight into the initial pulling of the, into the initial dice roll. Like a lot of the weight of who wins will be based on what scenario gets pulled. Now, whereas if you leave some random chance of, I'm going to ban one, I'm going to ban one. Like, I know I'm really bad at this. I know I'm really bad at this. There's still some chance in there, and there's still some randomness in there.
Hold on 1 second, because this is how I would do it. Because I would tell you, I haven't released the rules for Exegol yet. But I think it should be a blind veto. Because that enters a situation where you could end up with 3 possibilities at the end if both players ban the same one. So it's still randomized, but I think I'm understanding what you're saying, Marcel. It's about kind of evening the curve, trying to avoid the spike in the possibilities, and maybe making it a better fight at the end.
Making it more based on the choices that the players make on the mat versus the initial dice roll.
So
for initiative.
Again, on the flip side, if we're doing it the final, why are we doing it everywhere else? Why is the final neat? Like, what makes every other elimination bracket match that much less special? I mean, granted, the final's the final,
right?
But some people may have gone over the hump and had to do that uphill battle in one of the previous ones. They didn't get that luxury.
I think the difference is management. Like, you have to administer. And if you're doing that for 8 matches or
it does add a lot. It does add a lot of time.
It's administrative burden that gets added, where the final is just 2 guys, and that's like, you earn the right to get to this point.
It might be feasible. It might be feasible in the cut. That not in Swiss. I think in Swiss, no, you randomize it. You have to have played everything. All right, you have to have played anything. Yeah, I could.
So, I guess in the difficulty of doing it in the cut is your judges are going to have to manage multiple different scenarios potentially going on in all these games too. So, Dion, on average for your qualifiers, how deep has the cut been? Has it always been 16? Is there sometimes only been 8? Like, how many rounds?
We're usually around 16.
16, 8, 4 final, right?
Right.
So that's 4. So by that point, in most cases, you will have done your 4 again. Mm-hmm. Just depends on the order. So there's a chance.
I think, haven't we been doing, because 5 rounds of Swiss and then 3 elimination. I think we go through every scenario twice. And then the
finals
9th round is the finals fully random.
Right. That's how we've been doing it. Basically guaranteeing that fudging the math wherever we've had to make sure that the final is randomized.
All are available.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I wanted to say. Is like, you want to get to a point where you're not, because on the reverse side, so if you didn't include the Swiss scenario in that figuring out of what needs to go next, if you were in the cut, say you had multi-days, right? Like, you have a day 1A, day 1B, or whatever it is. So now you can't really base it off that too much, because you have to kind of start fresh, because you have your day 1A and B might have ended differently, different scenarios.
Right.
So if you have to start and you're at a top 16, you do your 4, you do your 3, and then you're at the finals. Someone might be able to take a higher advantage than the other player because they just went through a matchup that was a favorable objective, maybe not their most favorable, and then they might get to do it again as well. So I mean, there are ebbs and flows where this can go a positive thing and negative.
Cool. All right, yeah, there's some food for thought. I mean, I have a decision to make here in the next week or so I should probably make that. But something to think about. And again,
Finals droid ball. Come on, Dion.
Let's go.
Let's go. Droid ball.
No, that'll be
scenario.
That'll be the All-Star game where I bring in all the top 4 competitors from all of them.
I understand, Dion. It won't be droid ball.
Right. Yeah. Again, thank you to everybody who came and hung out at Crate Cup. It was a good time. If you have a Twitch subscription, you can watch it now. And if not, it'll be up on YouTube here when it gets to it, because we got a lot of stuff coming out on YouTube. And yeah, that's our show for today. It was a good... I would tell you, I was very happy to open up my phone after working on some stuff and be like... New cards! I'm like, yes! I was kind of hoping for some new content. Like, I wanted some new stuff to talk about, because who doesn't like new cards, new stuff? Now, AMG, I need a new ship. I got 3 card packs. I'll take it. Give me a ship. We know it's around the corner. Probably. Hopefully. Maybe. That's it for tonight, everybody. Be smart. and be safe. Gold Squadron out.